My friends think I'm toxic waste because my intoxicated friend, who'd previously rejected me, drunkenly kissed me at a sleepover, and I humiliated her by shaking my head no, and now I'm heartless because it took a lot for her to confess to me. I don't expect you to like, or agree with what I am about to say, but it has always been the way I am, and I've never lied about it. I've always been prideful, to what some would call a fault, but I would call the lack of pride I witnessed the same if I was being brutally honest, a jerk, so maybe we're just different people. I've had the same friend group for most of my life, we're all mid-20s. My friends have known this about me for years, and it just feels like they want me to break my principles for the sake of doing it, which feels toxic to me. I am pretty sure I am in the right, but my friends heavily disagree, so I wanted to ask for outside opinions. I do not believe in the whole break up / get back together, or the yes, no, yes, no thing. If you say you don't want me, end of story, we can close that book and get back to where we were, no problem, and I won't bring it up again. 6-ish weeks ago, I finally got up the courage to ask out my best friend, someone I had feelings for a long time before this. She wasn't interested, and I accepted that right away, because why would I not? We've been friends for a long time, and I didn't expect anything from her. I did distance myself for just a little bit, to get over the awkwardness, but within a little over a week, it was like nothing happened, and I was glad. At least, until this last weekend, where during a sleepover with all of our friends at my place, she kissed me. No one else was paying attention, and I was kind of in shock, so I just pulled away, and shook my head. I honestly figured she was plastered and that would be the end of it. We all had been drinking a lot, and I wasn't even going to bring it up. Next morning, I wake up, and she, as well as a couple of our friends are gone. The ones that were still there were really angry. No matter how I try to explain where I'm coming from, I'm apparently not understanding how hard it was for her to confess, and that she felt humiliated by my reaction. I told them that they all knew how I felt about this kind of thing, and they started talking about how it was a different situation, and that my response was heartless. I don't know, am I the jerk here? Commenter 1. NTA. What the heck is wrong with your friends? Rejecting a kiss by pulling away and shaking the head is heartless now? Do they think you have to accept any approach by a woman? Assuming the way you describe the situation is accurate, you didn't humiliate her, you just rejected her, which is totally fine. Commenter 2. A drunken kiss is not a confession. Your friends are morons. Update 1. I promised a couple of people an update if there was one, other than me just losing almost all of my friends in one go, and to my surprise there is. Though at the same time, I'm mostly posting this for me, shouting into a void, because I feel slightly rock bottom right now, and my gut is telling me to quit my job, pack my stuff and leave the state, leave this half of the country, TBH, because life here is unsalvageable for me. I got family out west who'd let me stay for a while, and every second I consider it, it seems like a better idea. I also wanted to start by saying I would like to explain my position a little bit better, so just skip the next 2 paragraphs if you don't want to hear it. Try to make your starting point easy to find, sorry if it didn't work, but I do want the chance to explain myself a little better. I was a wreck writing the first one, and looking back over it, I didn't give many details regarding my reasons, or how I feel about it, outside of avoiding the situations. I do not view myself as an epic badass or whatever else everyone was commenting on the last post. In fact, I do understand that to many, this is a pretty fatal flaw in my personality. I have accepted that for a lot of people, that opinion is one that cuts off the possibility of friendship. It sucks, but I also don't want to change myself or force myself into uncomfortable situations, just because people don't like a part of me. I am very accepting of others' views on the situation, and completely agree that my own can seem rigid. I don't blame people for disagreeing. I think that plenty of people could have a wonderful relationship in that situation. I only even brought this up because it matters to the story. However, I also know that when it comes to relationships, it would not be fair to either party, in a case like this. I know for a fact I would never fully know that I wasn't a backup option, or that they aren't just saying yes because it's convenient now. I don't want those kinds of thoughts in my head, and I don't want to constantly feel like I have to prove I am worth it in a relationship. I have more pride, or maybe as others have said, self-respect is better wording. It isn't meant as a gotcha, or to punish the other person in any way. It's because even if I still have romantic feelings, I genuinely don't think the relationship is a good idea anymore. Anyway, for the actual update. After almost a full week of radio silence, she replied to my texts and asked if we could meet and talk. I asked where she wanted to meet, and she said my place, I assume for privacy, which is cool. I know a lot of people were talking about her trying to set me up for crimes and stuff, but I'm not really worried about that, from her. I just don't think she would. She isn't vindictive. So when she got here, and we sat down, I pretty much just told her that I was so confused about everything that I didn't even know what to make of all that happened, and I asked her to tell me what happened from her point of view. There were 2 differences between her version, and my version that I picked up on, which may well have been accurate. I was plastered and they aren't huge differences, but at the same time, I can see how it would be embarrassing. She claims that after I pulled away I made a face like I was grossed out. Afterward she said I shifted to be leaning away from her, for the rest of the movie, and it just made it worse. I don't remember either of them, but again drunk. Not gonna deny it, I have little control over my face when I smoke or drink and I absolutely could have made a face without realizing it, just out of shock. I apologized for that and assured her I wasn't disgusted, just shocked as hell, and also assuming it was a drunk mistake kind of thing. Hell, we've all done stupid stuff drunk, no big deal. It was only the next morning when I was bum rushed with accusations before I even got a morning piss that I was told it was meant to be any kind of hint or whatever. She did look really embarrassed at that point and told me she hadn't thought about it that way, and just thought it would be more simple than everything else. I decided, against my better judgment, to ask the question everyone here told me I needed to ask. Why did she actually reject me at first, and what caused her to change her mind? That's when things got really uncomfortable, and I could tell she didn't want to tell me, but eventually, she did. Apparently, her parents are more bigoted than she or anyone else led me to believe, so in her own words, telling them we were in a relationship wouldn't be worth it, since I came out. I am NB, and she said they haven't liked me since then but stay civil for her sake. Meaning that they would just trash talk me whenever I left. Which is really frustrating and embarrassing, considering all I've done for that family over the years. She was scared that dating would push them too far, and they'd cut her off from their lives. She said that she'd hoped maybe we could try dating on DL, and if things got serious enough then she could. I pretty much just told her I had a lot to think about and asked her if I could have some time. She agreed and left, and I don't know if I'm more furious, or embarrassed, or hurt. Why didn't she tell me before now they were saying that kind of stuff about me? What kind of friend does that? I'm not saying she had to cut them off or stop seeing them. I totally understand weird dynamics with parents, believe me, but maybe tell me that they have an open disgust and hatred for my existence before I decide to help them with household chores and treat them like I would family. I mean, I grew up with these people. For God's sake, I thought of her mother as a better one to me than my own, not a high bar, but she was doing cartwheels 50 feet over it in my eyes. I am so sick to my stomach with grief. I'm pretty sure we aren't gonna be able to be friends anymore, and it just hurts. I grew up with her, she is the first person other than my dad I came out to, and I never ever thought there would be anything she would do that I couldn't forgive her for, but making a fool out of me for years, then suggesting we date quietly so her family doesn't have to know she's with a local freak show just feels way too far. I want to forgive her, but she's not even sorry, she didn't even apologize for anything. I want to see her reasons, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt but it just hurts. I'm not sure if I wish I hadn't followed the advice or not, right now, even though I know it's better to know. I am glad, at least that I will know to stop wasting time, labor, and money on people who hate me. But to know that they hate me is so painful. Commenter 1. Wow. I'm so sorry. This is completely different to what I was expecting, and honestly, I think this is this best and worst outcome. It's good that you two were able to sit down and sort through your issues without any drama. On the other hand, finding out that her parents whom you grew up with and view as family actually despises you, is heartbreaking. I'm really sorry about what you're going through, and there are people out there cheering you on. Commenter 2. Well, obviously she messed up, I mean that's not even up for discussion. You don't play games with people's feelings. No rejection and then later a drunk kiss. She didn't even consider your feelings until now, which is wild. I get overthinking in the moment, but you don't start fights with friends without at least a discussion. As for the family, that totally sucks. She probably felt awkward about it and wanted to maintain a friendship with you, so that's why she said nothing. Sort of to protect you. I'm not sure if that's wrong or not. Commenter 3. I apologized for that and assured her I wasn't disgusted, just shocked, and also assuming it was a drunk mistake kind of thing. That's how I saw it. And it makes you a decent human being. Update 2, 8 months later. So, it's been a while. I was talking to a new friend yesterday about why I moved, and remember this account, so I figured I'd give you an update. I didn't confront my ex-friend's mom or dad, I didn't think it was necessary. I believed her. I don't think she was lying. I spoke to my therapist, and we went over my reasons to stay, and my reasons to go, and the list for leaving was so much longer than staying. It was pretty simple to move, I was renting on a month-to-month lease, and I didn't have much I needed to keep. I regret that partially now. I think I was a little manic when I started my little spring cleaning and threw away some stuff I wish I'd kept. I'm living with my uncle now, who's really cool, in a much more populated area. It was a lot easier to find friends out here than back home. I did receive a few apologies from the friends who were sending nasty texts before I left, and I accepted those, but I was pretty honest about my plans. The one who really showed their true colors was my ex-best friend. When she found out I was moving, she was pretty furious, and kept yelling and calling me names, and all this stuff, which I thought was because she was going to miss me. Nope. Ended up asking what her parents were supposed to do now, since I was the one who took care of their gardens for the most part. Asked how selfish I could be, and if I wanted them to break a hip just because they didn't like that I wear skirts now. She didn't outright call me a slur, but there were a lot of little digs in that last talk that made me keep waiting for it. I don't think she's a jerk. I think she was mad and knew that would hurt my feelings, so she dug in deep. So anyway, I've had her, and most of the people back home blocked for a while, and it doesn't bother me much. I'm doing well. I had a birthday party recently. Side note, I will never ever get over being able to wake up and decide to go to the beach, and just drive there. That is such a luxury to me, and I hope it never gets old. My uncle is a quiet guy, I like spending time with him, and his wife. They never make me feel like a freak, and I am so glad to call them family. Commenter. Why did you ever dodge a bullet with that family? Seriously. Don't spend any time mourning that friendship or losing those people. They are all kinds of terrible. Also, don't feel like you are in the wrong for having a "if you don't want me now, you don't get me later" kind of attitude. How you handled things is exactly how any rational person would. You asked her out, she said no, so you moved on. I am the exact same way, if that helps. If you don't want me now, and you reject me when I ask you out, that's it. I'm never going to change my mind. I won't wait for you to figure things out with another dude. I won't be your backup plan, and I dang sure won't be your side piece or hidden boyfriend like your ex-friend wanted. Good for you for having clear boundaries in life.